Hi guys, and welcome to my 22-week pregnancy update. 22 weeks, so exciting. So baby is a pound. That's what the app says. And if you guys watched last week's, we went to the ultrasound and they told us that baby is 15 ounces, so 16 ounces is a pound. So baby's right on track. And it is 11 inches, which is really, really cool. Excuse me. But when I first read that, I'm like, we're 1 inch away from a ruler, which is really cool because I'm excited. So that is from, I double checked, it's from head to toe. That's, because you guys were new last week, I was kind of confused. I was like, is it still head to butt and it's just got really big? Or, so no, it's head to toe, 11 inches, it's in there. And I've definitely noticed because baby is like kicking in different spots now, where it was kind of used to just be one area. I'm like, all right, baby's right there. And it still is that, but like last night specifically, there was a couple moments in a row where like, oh my gosh, the baby was like boop, 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 boop. And I was like, Brad, look. And you could just see my stomach like boop, 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 boop. It was really cool. So different things are moving. Oh, the coolest thing that happened, because a lot isn't really happening anymore. It's basically just baby growing. So there's not a whole lot to talk about that's different. Like I'm still feeling really great. Still trying to exercise. I did a Pilates routine this morning, which was good. Prenatal one, so don't worry, I was safe. And I did Pilates before, so my body's used to it, and it felt good because I was like, I need to get these legs in shape. These legs started to look not so pretty, so let's tighten those up. But what was I talking about? Oh shoot, totally just forgot what I was talking about, you guys. Oh yeah, baby's not really doing anything different. I think I'll go off of that. I don't really know what I was talking about, but so yeah. I'm kind of in a phase where it's all the same. Like that's what I was saying. Yeah, okay, I'm on the right track. Baby brain. Where I just feel good and just kind of going with the flow and just feeling baby move every day. And it's kind of the same thing right now. Until I get to the third trimester, things might change. I'm hoping that I feel great throughout the entire thing, but we'll see. So I don't really know as much what to talk about. So I think I'm gonna have like Brad in 1 week where he can talk about his stuff. So if you guys have any questions for Brad, leave that down below. If I get enough questions, we'll do it next week. Otherwise, I'll wait a couple weeks. Just anything father related, if you have any questions about his concerns or his excitements or whatever, I'm definitely going to get him in because you guys love the whisper challenge we just did. So go check that out if you haven't already, because that thing was hilarious. Watching it back, I'm like, I had no idea you were saying those things. So anyways, but yeah, I'll probably get him in for one. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about why I chose a midwife and then address a couple questions you guys had. But until anything really changes, I think my videos will be more tailored towards that as opposed to me talking about me, because there's not as much to talk about. Like I said, I'm repeating myself again, but I feel great, baby's good, baby's moving. So coolest thing though that happened, you guys are like, get to that part, don't forget it, because that would suck if I forgot it. Brad had his head on my stomach, because I think I told you guys that too. When Brad rests his head on my stomach, it gets baby moving, because I think he's taking up more room. And so he had his head on my stomach and we were feeling baby move. And then, because all we really felt were like pokes, like it just feels like a quick movement or a quick jab. I think we felt our first elbow or something, because it felt like let's say this is the stomach and like this is baby underneath. Instead of just feeling like this, it felt like whoop, like baby's elbow like moved across a part of my stomach. And so I felt it obviously inside of me. So when Brad just looks at me and he goes, did you feel that? He was like, what was that? And because it was like the most prolonged movement we felt the entire time. That was just the beginning of this week, I think, or last week. But anyways, yeah, so it's really, really cool. So I was like, I think that might have been like an elbow or a foot or something like really moving as opposed to just a poke. So that was really cool to feel, because I'm excited for that, to see like elbows and things like move across my stomach, because that's the coolest thing, is like seeing it from the outside instead of just feeling, because then Brad's more involved as well when he can actually see. So that's really cool. So that's it for baby and me. Like not too much crazy going on, just really feeling like a bump now, not feeling like pregnant or anything, because there's still times where I completely forget I'm pregnant. I look down and I'm like, great, I've got a baby. But I'm definitely at the point now where it's like, okay, she's pregnant. I think I had my first person say that to Brad, is she pregnant? So that was really cool to get that for the first time. So anyways, what I'm going to talk about today, one question I've had repeatedly is baby names. Do we have baby names? Yes, we have baby names. Brad and I have had baby names since we started dating. This is basically what we've wanted ever since we started dating, was a family. So honestly, I think we started dating in 2007 and I randomly just found a picture that I had made, or Brad made me this picture and it said, we love you. And he drew like all of our little children on it. This is really random. This is from 2008. I have a picture of it. And he put all of our kids in it. And like some of the names that are in there are still names that we have today. The one that we are going to call our baby girl if it is indeed a baby girl, the first one, that is like still in there. Some of them were changed out because we just realized that we don't really like that name or it didn't have significance. But yeah, so that was really cool because we've had names forever. And as I said, we've kind of changed some of them out, but for the most part, the ones we loved have stuck. So we definitely have a baby girl name and a baby boy name, first name and middle name. Both of the middle names are significant, but the first names themselves are just names that we really, really loved. So that's really cool, but we are not going to be sharing them with you guys just because it's just something that we want to just keep to ourselves for right now. Also because we don't want to open it up to opinions, because we know that that's what happens is people just express their opinions one way or the other, and that's fine, but beforehand we don't want that. We'd rather just people accept it as the baby name and then have their opinion. And also just because you never know, someone might try and take your name, so it's like just keep it hidden. So that's just what we're gonna do for now. Obviously when the baby's born and it's here, boy or girl, whatever it is, we will tell you the whole name and we'll give you the meaning behind it and all that kind of stuff. So, but yes, we do have our baby names for all of those of you who are asking. But that was the number one question that I kept getting is baby names, baby names. Oh yes, we've had baby names picked out for quite a while, so we are good on baby names. And we have more than one for each. Like we have I think we have 2 girl names completely set, kind of a third one in mind. And then I think we've got like 3 or 4 boy names. Lots of boy names. Girls' names are really a lot harder, but so yeah, we've got our names. And then the next thing is midwife, why I chose a midwife. So I'm not gonna go too in depth with this because it could be its whole own thing and I don't wanna cause any controversy or anything like that, but basically why I chose a midwife. I grew up in a family where everything was very non-medicated. My mom was very much against antibiotics. She did not like drugs. She really didn't even like vitamins for children. And then it was very healthy. We would come home and my mom would have, and this is still the same way it is today, we would come home and there'd be carrots and broccoli on the table after school. I mean, obviously sometimes there was cookies. My mom loves to bake, but it was very much a healthy environment. And that being said, like I did not get sick a lot as a kid because of it. Like my immune system was definitely very strong because my mom did not just run to the medicine cabinet. It was very much like let it run its course. And so growing up by myself, now that like once I moved out, I was the same way. I didn't want to take drugs. If I got sick, it was probably once a year. It lasted like 5 days and then it was done. It wasn't like I was having, 10 illnesses a year and I was always out of school or anything like that. So I definitely took that from my mom. And then when I went to a nutrition class, I learned a lot more obviously about being vegetarian. And then just once you kind of get into the whole nutrition side, it just opens you up to everything. So I learned a bunch of stuff about a bunch of different things. And I just realized I was like, I just kind of want a more natural home life. And so then of course when it came to baby, I just started looking into a little bit more natural baby experience. So my friend Jade actually, because I'd heard about midwives before, but I mean obviously if you grow up in the States or Canada, you just immediately assume I'm gonna have a baby and I'm gonna have it in the hospital and it's gonna be done by a doctor and that's it. And so Jade had kind of talked to me a little bit more about midwives, and then I watched the documentary, The Business of Being Born. If any of you guys have seen that, it's amazing. Definitely don't just watch it to watch it. It's definitely something kind of maybe just wait until you're gonna have a baby. It's a little bit graphic, I'll say that, but basically it just goes into how doctors are great at their jobs, but doctors are meant to fix things. That's what they're good at. They're good at fixing things. And having a baby should not be something that you're fixing. It's probably the most natural thing that you can do. Again, I'm not trying to be too political about this, so please just take what I say with a grain of salt. It's all my own opinion. Not trying to push this on anyone. Same with my vegetarianism. I do not, I made up that word, but I do not push that on anyone either. So I totally get both sides, and I totally get that doctors are awesome and doctors are great, and I do not have a hate for doctors in any sense, so please don't get that from what I'm gonna say. But basically, doctors fix things, and midwives are actually used by 80% of the world to have babies. And even in Europe, midwives is what you go to, and if there's an issue, that's when the doctor's called in. It's not, I'm going to the doctor first. So I just looked into it more, and I really liked what I was reading just about how midwives, they're there for you as the mother. They see this as a natural process. They don't see it as something like, all right, let's get this patient in, let's get the baby out kind of thing. They're more like, let's let the baby come on its own time. And I mean, for me, it was like if I've spent 9 months doing this by myself and like raising or growing a baby and doing it in the most natural way possible, I kind of want the whole end process to be the same thing. Does that make sense? So yeah, The Business of Being Born, I highly recommend that documentary. It's on Netflix if you're actually interested in learning more about midwives or more about what goes on. It's not the only thing out there. There's plenty of books that also say other things, but the summary of the documentary that really got me to say, okay, no, I don't want that for myself, is that what happens is you go into a hospital and doctors are very, very busy because they are saving lives. And so the woman comes in, she's not going fast enough for what the hospital would like, so they put her on Pitocin, and then the Pitocin makes, you contract, but your body doesn't really know you're contracting, but it's making it contract, and so then that speeds up the heart rate of the baby, which makes it dangerous, and then they tell you your baby's in danger, so you as a mother are like, oh my gosh, we'll do what you have to. And so then they give you a drug to help the baby, and then all of a sudden there's all these drugs and it's just bad, and then they just say, oh my gosh, we have to save the baby, we need to get you into a C-section. It's not how it happens all the time, but like basically they're playing into a mother's biggest fear. And so obviously as a mother, you would say, do what's best for my baby, and you just get whisked away to cesarean section. That's not how it always happens. It's a very large case though in the United States, and it's also starting to happen in Canada. So it's just something, I never wanted a cesarean to begin with, so I was like, okay, well, if those drugs eventually basically lead to a cesarean, it's not what I want to start with. And to me, it's just not what I want. Like, I don't like the thought of being cut open. I don't like the thought of it being, because C-section is a major surgery. That's just not something that I want. I personally feel like if I had a baby pulled out of me, and I've heard this story from other women who had this happen to them where they got C-sections, I don't feel like I would totally feel like my pregnancy was over. And a lot of people have said that. They don't understand how this baby got to them, and they're supposed to believe that it's theirs. Again, I'm not trying to cause anything. I totally understand that there are circumstances beyond anyone's control where a C-section is life-saving, where it's the thing you have to do, but just for me wanting natural, it's not something I wanted to end up with, so I'm trying to avoid it. That being said, worst case scenario, dear Jesus, please let it not be this way, but if it needed to happen, I'd be in the same boat, and I would say, save my baby, save me and save my baby. But even just the same thing, like, I didn't like the idea of having any kind of pressure with an epidural. It's not something I want. I didn't want any kind of pressure with any other kind of drug, of being induced. I understand that could still happen, totally get it, totally get that. You never know what's gonna happen, but for me, it's just, I just wanted something where I knew that I was starting with natural and not starting with fear, if that makes sense. Because I just feel like if I started in a hospital with the doctor, I would just be nervous that I was going to end up in the operating room, and that's not what I wanted. So that all being said, again, please, I'm not looking for a fight down below or anything, just my own opinions and what I've gathered from books I've read and documentaries I've watched. I ended up choosing a midwife in Niagara, and so I went to, and I've had an experience with both doctor and midwife. My family doctor is fantastic. That's what I started out with. She's great. But there's definitely a big difference with a midwife. The midwives are they explain everything. Whereas with the doctor, I just kind of felt like, and again, I love my family doctor, close friend, but I felt like with the doctor, it was very much like, this is this, and it's happening. And where the midwife's like, this is this, and this is what it means. And so that was awesome. And it was also, and instead of being like, okay, I'm taking your blood pressure, she would ask everything. She'd say, is it okay if I take your blood pressure? I just felt like it was more about me as a human being than me as a client, if that makes sense. And also just with the midwives, again, they see the whole thing as just a miracle. They see it as natural. They see it as beautiful. I'm not saying doctors don't in any way, but I feel like, okay, let me explain something too. Midwives have gone to school for 4 years to study babies and everything that goes with it, and most of them have schooling beyond that. That 4 years is kind of basic minimum. And then doctors go to school for everything else kind of thing. It's not their specialty, whereas midwives, babies are their specialties. Doctors, it's not. For the most part, the first time a doctor, not a doctor, what was it called? An obstetrician, I think, has been into deliver a baby, like that's the first time they've seen it. It's not something that they go in school and they like do. It's like the first time that they have their first birth, like that's it. Whereas a midwife, they attend births and they're students and all these things, and it's more what they're tailored for. So to me, it just kind of makes sense. Well, it's almost like saying a specialist, if that makes sense, to go with a midwife than with the doctor. Again, I'm trying to be very non-political about any of this, and I don't want to offend anyone in any way. Doctors are great, but I just chose a midwife. So anyways, I just felt very comfortable. I felt very relaxed. It's just me. personal decision, so I went with the midwife. But anyways, I'm so scared that I'm like offending people and I don't mean it. So I'm just gonna talk now, and it's my video and we'll just go with it. But anyway, so yeah, with the midwife, and I've loved my decision. I really, really love my midwife. She's very sweet. And they're just big on, as I said, just natural. So that's basically why I did it. It's because it's just natural. It's what they studied for all of their years of schooling. And so to me, it just made sense for my lifestyle. Excuse me. So that's why I chose a midwife. If you have any other questions dealing with that, or because I might have missed some things I wanted to talk about just because I was scared. If you have any more questions, leave it in the comments down below and I will get back to them either in the comments or I'll save it for the next video if I need to make up any clarifications. I'm probably gonna watch this video and like squirm and be like, Courtney, don't post it. But I just wanna let you guys know, because I just wanna let you guys know that there's more options. It doesn't just have to be go to the hospital. Anyways, that's it. That's the end of that question. So I'll go ahead and show you guys my bump, and I hope, as I said, you guys don't hate me now and that it's okay that I'm making this decision. But anyways, so excuse me if you can see my Christmas shorts, but oh look, it's like a, what's that word? You guys can't even tell I'm pregnant. And then you turn to the side and it's like, hello. So 22 weeks pregnant, we're moving right along. This shirt is like an optical illusion. I probably shouldn't have chosen this one because you can't really tell. But yeah, there's my 22-week bump shot. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys still love me. Don't forget, you are all beautiful, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.